Hey, what's up, Dilio back again, and in this video we're gonna just show off a few of the effects pedals that I have. I have like a small collection. It's not even my entire collection. There's like a looper pedal missile, but I just want to talk about some of the different plugins that I had and just talk about the pros and cons of them in this video. So, you know, I just did a video talking about this unit, best pitch correction in the pedal, in my opinion. But I also want to talk about these other pedals, like for instance, like, you know, we got the Perform-VE 22, we got the TC Helicon C1, we got the, which is my favorite, one of my classic favorites, and this is it's rare because they don't make these anymore, the TC Helicon Perform-VE. So let's talk about this one. We'll work our way up because it's really awesome. So in this one, this is the TC Helicon. Get this microphone over here. The TC Helicon was a really good pitch correction. You can change the gender on your tone. You can make it tune hard or soft. It was really good. It was a really good. I like that you could turn it on and turn off with the pedal. Typically, when I sing vocals, I will definitely, I'm trying to keep this thing in a shot. I will definitely like this, but the thing is, it's like for me, when I sing and I gig, I don't like to have these on the floor because I like to interact with these and maybe change stuff. So you do have all the scales here, but the trick is that they're only major scales. So in order to access the right scale, you have to calculate. Like say if you're singing a song in a minor scale, you will need to turn it to the relative major scale to have this in a minor key. And that was the same issue I had with this one right here, but we haven't got to that one yet. However, you do have knobs where you can go soft. This is good if you want instant sort of pitch correction out of the box and you just want a little bit. It's actually a pretty decent pedal. The only problem is you know, you don't have presets and you don't have effects on here, but very simple, straightforward. Probably could be easily powered. You do have USB in the back. You see that it's kind of dating and stuff because it has the older style USB on the back. But you know, just hook up a good XLR. I don't think this has phantom power on it. Now that I'm looking at it, you do have ground lifting. You do have a mic gain knob on the side here. But I don't think. And I think there might be some controls. I know TC Helicon released a microphone that had buttons on it that could release control information to do certain things. But overall, this sounded good. So why did I stop using it? Well, I wanted something a little bit more flexible. Really, I had bought this to replace this because this broke down. But I'll get to that. But however, this is a good, if you just want instant, affordable pitch correction without the investment of this one. I mean, this is pretty cool. You'll get the effect. Like if you want to experiment and you don't have a lot to invest, like this one will actually get you through. Okay, so that's the TC Helicon C1, auto tune and correction. Right now, this was a workhorse. I've done a lot of gigs with this. The buttons, I never really liked how I've adapted to the buttons, but I never liked how they work because, like, there's certain parameters, like as you can see, there's certain writings on the corner, and those actually are buttons. So there's like two buttons and one button. So, you know, if you messed up, you could mess up very easily and hit both buttons. Sometimes the looper was really tricky because you had to actually do double gestures on this one. But this is the TC Helicon Perform-VE. This was a very powerful device. It had a lot in it. It had the hard tune in it. It had a decent doubler in it. Nice effects. It had 3 presets, which is cool. So if I had 2 songs that needed auto tune in a specific key, I could do that with this. But that was all. Let's start with the back. Yeah, so MIDI control in, so you can hook up a MIDI controller to this and do vocoding with it. This actually has a dope vocoder. It has like a traditional vocoder that's based off of synth. That could be, I think, monophonic or polyphonic, I think. And then also it has sort of a pitch correction vocoder. So it actually took your natural voice and pitched it to the chorus there. It had like an internal monitor there, so you can hook up your headphones. I never really used that. And then you also had pedal control, and I think through the USB app or something like that, you could control certain things with a pedal switch. This was a stereo output thing. This was kind of interesting to hook up at gigs sometimes, because I would have to go to a DI box or a stereo DI box to connect this to a sound system or a PA. The volume control is here, but this knob represents a lot of stuff. And the interesting thing about this device is that you had to hit the set button, make some noise, and then it's supposed to auto detect the volume and gain that you're working with. But then I think there's like a gesture, and that's another thing. You have to use a lot of gestures to turn this and turn that down. I can't dismiss the looper. This had a looper on it, and it had quantization in it because it had like a little drum sound. So you had like a kick and a snare sound. This thing just had so much to it. You could record vocals, and like one things I would do is I would record vocals, and then I would play back the harmony part and sing along with it. People were tripping out when I was doing this. It's like, who's this other vocalist coming out? So like, say if a hook is going one time and the drummer is locked in, I could record the vocal, right? I could record the vocal, and then when the hook came around again, I will play that part and harmonize on top of it. It was so much fun. The auto-tune was good. The delay was good. It had phantom power on it. I think the drawbacks was these button controls. And again, with the auto-tune, you had to tell it to go into the relative major key if you wanted to sing a song in minor. And the hard tune's okay. It was good. It was good. But if you're doing a full like set list of songs, if you're not quick on your feet, you'll mess up. Because like say if we're doing a full set list of songs, I had to go in and like find the key and then dial it in. Like I kept like a on my keyboard at a gig, I would keep like a list of keys in the relative minors so I wouldn't have to memorize them, which is lazy, but it worked. And that way I could dial it in. The morph was fun. A lot of these were fun, and there's so much this thing could do, but the fact that you only had 3 presets to work with really limited this. You had the telephone, a lot of filters. The echo was good. The echo was ping pong too. The reverb was good, and sometimes I had to go in and dial in the separate reverbs and delays on here. So that was fun. But overall, and also this thing had a thing that clipped right on the mic, so I didn't need a tray to put this on there. But this was a workhorse. The only downfall that this had was, like, I think this is my 3rd one. These were so good. The first one just had audio issues, I think, and I labeled it broken because it stopped working. The second one I got, I think broke down because we were at a gig one time. It was at the Martin Luther King Center. We were at a gig one time, and this thing was just sitting out in the sun, and I didn't think of it. I was like, oh, this is a tough piece of gear. But it was 90 degrees that day. We're at the Martin Luther King Center, and this thing was sitting in the sun. And after that, it really struggled to work properly. It was just such a heartbreak for me because I did a lot of gigs with it. It helped me give you the live auto-tune sound. It was a beast, man. It still is. I think this one still works. But because it broke, I put it away and took it out of my gig bag because it became unstable because I think the heat damage messed it up. But I don't think it's dead. It could be repaired, but these are a very powerful unit, very rare. I could see myself selling one because I have 2. And also the thing was that TC Helicon actually sent me this to review like back in the day, and it's still such a wonderful piece. Can't deny it. All right, so that's the TC Helicon Perform-VE. This is the Vocoder Performer VE22. Look how similar the names are for these things. That's pretty funny. And the Vocoder Performer VE22 was sort of my answer to this breaking down. I wanted something that had pitch correction. I know TC Helicon had an older unit that had voice correction, but I said, let me just try the newer one here. It was sounding pretty good. This one is good because you have a lot of presets. You can go up and down your presets. I believe this has a looper in it. And what's cool about this is that you can turn on and turn off the harmony on this. with these buttons here. So you have sort of like 3 effects. So this effect will give you like distortion, give you distortion, chorus, and all that stuff. So you had 3 blocks. So this block took care of your harmony, your doubling, or whatever. You can do doubling on here too, but it's more of a chorus effect. This is really good to do harmonies, but you have to set the key. And then on echo, you had your reverbs, delays, and other stuff like that. And then you had a blend of the two on some of the algorithms here. The connectivity is really nice. You have your line out, your aux in, controllers. You can hook up a foot controller to this. Your mic input there, your mic sensitivity is set there. Phantom power can be turned on and off here. Side note, you can turn on phantom power on and off on this one. It was like a shortcut. But in this one, you have XLR outputs, which is nice, you know. But the volume control, see, you have volume control here. Well, pedals, you gotta be able to turn it down, and something takes off on these effects in like these nightclubs. Sometimes you don't really have the most advanced sound system, so you gotta be able to like turn it off. So in this one, this volume knob did not have anything to do with these outputs here at all. Like this affects that, but you don't really want to mess with that. And I don't think this was designed to be adjusted on the fly as like this one is. 2 XLR outs. Now the headphones line out will be affected by this. You see, we got USB Type-C. So this is definitely a newer pedal because it's got Type-C on it. Color screen. The auto tune on this was enough to sell me on it, but there was still room for improvement. Sometimes I would run into a little bit of instability. I tried to go into the settings and adjust the auto tune flavors on it, but sometimes it would just get a little wonky. Sometimes you would hear it kind of be a little unstable and not hold that pitch real solid. The effects were really good, and I liked being able to, like, say we were doing a song and then suddenly we're doing like a song from the 90s. I would jump in and I would select the effects and then dial into like the reverb taps and things of that nature. It's a little tricky to do BPM on here. You have to kind of go far on there, but it still was a fun device. It is a fun device. The effects are great. Stereo output, really good. The harmony is good. It does okay. But the auto-tune wasn't as good as what I was used to in the studio. But I still made it work. Done a lot of gigs with this already. Not as much as by Perform-VE. It's overall good piece. Great effects. Great sound effects like bit reduction. There's so many effects in the effects block of this. It's crazy. And be able to combine those 2 effects in this chain of sounds is really cool too. So, and nice little instructions there. Also, the input is pretty tight because you got a compressor on here, you got a de-esser on here, you got a lot of parameters on here that you can change and adjust on the microphone. You can high pass your microphone to get rid of that low rumble. Phantom power is present on this unit. It is a pretty serious unit. But again, I see these big buttons are good for floor punch. When I sing, I like to have this thing at my fingertips in case I need to tweak something. That's just what it is, right? So overall, it's good. Pitch correction could be a little bit better, and that's just I'm a spoiled brat when it comes to pitch correction because I got it in the studio, got the Apollo, got the Antares suite. I'm spoiled, and I've learned to adapt and work with that. I don't have that in the studio, so that's okay. Otherwise, man, it's a good pedal, right? And you already know about this. I just did a video about this industry class pitch correction. The effects are good, but the flexibility to go in and turn stuff on and off is not as good as it is on this one. Like if I want, like say like you got harmony here, I can turn that on. I guess if I want. I guess the buttons are here if you want to turn some effects on and off. I guess it's kind of similar to what this is because if I want harmony, I can turn it on, turn it off there. If I want pitch correction, I hit that button. I can hit that there. And if I want certain effects, I can turn it on and off right there. So these are your bypass buttons, but they're also selecting buttons to go into it. There's always a key button, which is great. I like that. And in case you want to make adjustments, and then you can also adjust your effects there. You can bypass on this one. So they are similar, but I still am getting used to this. But the sound of the auto-tune is spot on. Spot on. Nothing's touched. As far as vocal pedals concerned, nothing's touching it on auto-tune than this one right here. But I do like the functionality and the flexibility of effects on here. Like this does have certain effects that this doesn't have. So there's a lot to it. Right? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video talking about different effects pedals. Because they're a lot of fun. And as you see, I use a lot of them. And all that good stuff. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you've got questions about any of these pedals, I'd love to talk about them. Because I have a lot of time with all of them except for the Headrush unit. But I'd love to talk about them. So anything you want to talk about, let me know. You're watching DAW of T2K.